And this is the case of for upper esophageal stent and a stent fix. Can we have the first slide with the history? So this was a 71-year-old male patient who had adenocarcinoma distal esophagus. He received CT and chemotherapy and radiotherapy in 29. He is now having progressive dysphagia with vomiting, and a PET CT scored recurrence of the disease in the lower esophagus. You can see the PET picture here showing very intense uptake in the lower esophagus. He has comorbidities like coronary artery disease and so on. The plan is to put a completely covered esophageal stent, but in addition, we know this is not going to stay, so we might have to use a stent fix. So I'm going to use a Pentex EG29 I10 scope. It's a high definition upper GI scope with a 3.2 channel. I think 3.2 channel is advantageous in this case if you want to push some bigger axaries. I'm now going through, and Asma, can you see the picture here, endoscopy picture?
Yeah, it's clearly.
Yeah. So you can start seeing at about 30 centimeters, then there's some narrowing there. You can see the narrowing with some food material. Okay. So plan now is that I am now for this is the tumor area. You can see very nicely there. I'm now going to actually give a contrast injection just above that area because I want to monitor that when I'm putting in the stent. I usually do the stent under fluoroscopic placement, and you can see the catheter now. I'm going to inject some contrast just about site of the just above the tumor. Out, needle out. Ms. Srinivas is giving the needle out. Inject and fluoroscopy, please. Inject fluoroscopy. Yeah, you can see on fluoroscopy. I can see the lower end. The lower end is corresponding to the upper part of the tumor. What you injected now. Now the plan now is that I want to see if I can get this stent through. I can't see a opening there very well, but so what I'll do is I'll use a ball tip catheter with a guide wire, the so-called Hubrisky catheter. I'll use this to try and see if I can pass it through the small lumen that I see, so that I can define the lumen, define what's happening in the lower end of the esophagus. So I go close here, and then I'm trying to see if I can. I don't see very well the tumor, but I'm trying to see if I can pass through. Yes, the catheter has gone through. Can you see the fluoroscopy? The catheter has gone through. Okay. So now I have the.
Yeah, the catheter passed stenosis.
It's not so tight because the catheter went through easily. Although when you go in endoscopy, it will be tight. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to now push my catheter a little blindly, endoscope blindly on the catheter because I know that I can be little more less gentle than normal because the catheter is in place. I'm trying to push my scope through to see, yeah, it's gone through. Can you see it's gone into the stomach now? Which means this, although it looks narrow, but it's elastic narrowing. And this is very important because when I put a stent there, it's not going to stay in place. It's going to fall out. So this stent will not only require placing it properly, but also fixing it in position. So what I'm going to now do is, I'm going to put a guide wire. I'm going to put a stiff jag wire there. And
it's
then,
very nice technique.
Yeah. Thank you, Asma. So I'll put a jag wire there. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm pull back the endoscope, have my stent ready. So I'm not using through the scope stent, so I have to take the scope out here. And you can see the tumor now there nicely. I'm taking the scope out. It's about, I want to measure the space. It's about 35 to 40. So it's approximately 5 centimeters. So I'll use a 10 centimeters Boston Scientific completely covered wall flex stent. But the important thing is
covered with the
the reason
there is some migration.
Yeah, the reason I'm using a completely covered in this case is because the polypoidal area, if you use uncovered stent, it'll grow through. Now, if I use the other option would be to use a partially covered stent, which would be a good option in this case. But anyway, we are going to use a stent fix to fix the stent, and therefore, even if you use a covered stent, don't make a difference. And this stent is a very good stent, which I've used often. This is the stent that I'm going to use. It's going to go on the guide wire here, and I'm going to put it on this. It's you can see it's fairly flexible. When it opens up, it opens to 25 at the flanks and is 18 millimeter diameter, 10 centimeter in the length. So it should just cross very nicely. I don't want it to be too long to hang in the stomach because that can sometimes produce a problem in the opposite wall. So it's going on the guide wire now. And the technique, of course, is to hold the guide wire with your right hand and to gently use my left hand to push the stent. So I'm stabilizing with my guide wire here. You can see my right hand, and the stent is being pushed with the left hand. Sometimes there's a little resistance at the throat, but then it goes through. And fluoroscopically, I'm following it now. I know that the lower end is just above the injection that we did. So you can, the stent is gone inside. And can you show me the upper part? Upper part. The upper part is very important. Upper part.
I have a question. What you have done if the scope had not passed or gone through the structure?
If the scope had not passed, I would have put a guide wire and dilated it. I would have put a guide wire. Okay. This is, I think, positioned well now. You can see the markers here. The lower marker is in the stomach. The upper marker is somewhere in the mid part. And you can see the upper marker is above the tumor. The scope hadn't passed through, I would have actually dilated it a little. I don't like to dilate too much. I dilate it only about maximum to 8 millimeters. What I'm going to do after I put a scope, I won't have time to show you this, so I'll show it to now itself. I'm going to use a special device called the stent fix. Now the stent fix is a device which comes from Ovesco, over the scope. It's just like a over the scope clip. Now this is a traditional over the scope clip that you see here. This is the traditional over scope clip, right? Now this stent fix is a modified clip which has got sharp teeth and it's got a longitudinal groove there so that it can go fix into on the stent completely, and I'll show you that. So when you use this clip, it's a full thickness clip which clips the stent to the esophageal wall in a full thickness fashion so that it doesn't migrate. So we are going to demonstrate that, but first I'll just release this stent so that it's in good place.
Do you find it more convenient than the endo stitch?
It's much easier to use than endo stitch. Endo stitch, I think there are certain difficulties, technical difficulty. Now I've got 3/4 in now. There's a small part, so I'm going to pull back now, so that now I can be. It's open completely now. You can see that it's open now. The stent is now open. You can see the fluoroscopy stent. I'm going to go in with the endoscope with the endo stitch. Now the endoscope, endo stitch, you can see here, and you can see the tip of the endoscope here. You can see the tip of the endoscope. See that now? Where I put in the esophagus fix, the fixing clip is there, esophagus. So now I'm going to put this in, and then we go down to the edge of the stent, and I'll show you the technique of how this can be used. So this is the edge of the stent that I'm start to see now. Can you see the stent there? Okay.
Yeah, we can see the edge of the stent now.
Yeah, you can see the stent there. The technique is this is a transverse stitch. So I go and see that the scope, the part of the mucosa is here. The most 2/3 is esophagus, 1/3 is the stent. I push it down like this. And then at this point, I suck a lot. It's very important to do a good suction here. I'm sucking. More mucosa, less stent, and then I'm sucking now. And then I'm going to release the stent. You can see my hand here. The camera can focus on my hand. I'm sucking. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now release the stent. The stent is released. Yeah, the stent is now released, and you can see that the stent, if you have the fluoroscopy picture, also you can see it nicely, how the stent is released.
When did you release the stent? There is any like marker or things tell you that you have to release the stent now after good suctioning? Or just you go after good suctioning?
No, after suctioning, you know the mucosa is stuck there. You can see that. It's stuck, and when I'll show you the fluoroscope, you can see the fluoroscopy picture much better now. And you can see very nicely how this is how the stent is now there. See that? This is the
yeah, beautiful. Looks very good. Amazing.
Yeah. And you can see the fluoroscopy picture. Can you have if you can magnify the fluoroscopy picture and show it, you can see that how it's fixed there. The stent is now fixed with see that nicely. Yeah. Okay. You can see that very well. Okay. Now the plan in this patient
looks
is
nice and easy by your hand, but I don't know how technically will be with
No, I think,
others.
I think for you also it'll be easy. You are such an expert endoscopist. So I think this is this technique you can see much easier than the endostitch or all the other devices. This is this device that we've used for long now, and there's a special cutting device which can be used to remove the clip whenever you want. It's a power cutter. We can cut it and then remove, and if you want to remove the stent. Okay.